Hola, mi amigos, and welcome to the Sir Gladiator Show. I have in my hand, as you can see here, some paper, and and it does have writing on it. It's it is my notes. This is going to be another one of those episodes where I analyze something using notes. I have here some figures, specifically the ratings from each episode of season number 3 of the television show Lost Girl. I also have here the all the ratings from season 1 and 2. I don't know that I'm going to get into those right now. I really want to focus more on season number 3, and you know, because I think we all have heard at some point or other, you know, the ratings were down in season 3, and that's not good, etc. And in a literal sense, that's true. But I'd like to explain that it isn't that simple. It isn't that people don't like the show as much as they used to, or something like that. There were certain episodes that were rated very highly, and certain episodes that were rated very poorly, and the average of that ends up being lower than it was in season number 2 or season number 1. Uh, there's no denying that. And I also should point out that these are American numbers, because here in America, all the ratings of television shows are public information. The Nielsen ratings, they put them out. Doesn't really matter if a given show wants them to be put out or not, if they're embarrassing to them, or and they don't want them out, tough. But in other countries, that's not necessarily the case. Like in Canada, I don't know if anybody really knows what the ratings were there. There was some talk, the finale did pretty poorly in Canada. I believe that was more or less confirmed, but generally speaking, I have no idea what the ratings were in Canada, because they aren't public knowledge. If somebody knows them, of course, the people who run the show, run the TV station, etc. The high up people obviously have access to that sort of thing, and they aren't going to put it out unless they have a reason to. They don't have to. They'll only do it if they want to, and certainly anything that makes them look bad, they're not going to do it. And even if it makes them look good, they still might not do it if they don't want to. It basically would depend on, it's all up to them. So it depends on what, their strategy is, what they're thinking, what they like in something like that. But here in America, we have information, and we get to analyze the ratings. And as I'm going to get to, there is a big reason why the rating was disappointing, perhaps is the word, for the finale in Canada. But here in America, it was outstanding. It was the highest, the most watched episode all year. There is a very good reason, and I'm going to get to that when I get to it. I want to go in order. So that's episode 13, because there are 13 episodes. I'd like to start at the beginning with episode 1. And I could point out that it aired on January 14th, according to these notes that I have here. The number of viewers for the opener was actually 1,186,000 total viewers for the season opener. Now, obviously, your opener, your ending, your finale, these should probably be your highest rated episodes of the season. Doesn't mean they're going to be, You know, it stands to reason that, you know, they probably would be. That's a good solid rating. There's certainly no complaining about that. Good stuff. It was a good episode, and it got a good rating. It wasn't. It was the opener, so it was probably going to get a good rating anyway. But it deserved it. It deserved the good rating that it got. There's no denying that. Now, episode number 2 had 1,075,000 viewers. That was down 111,000 viewers. And it's obviously quite a lot considering how many they started with. I should take this opportunity to point out to you that you are not going to have to remember all these numbers. I don't know that you could. I sure don't know that I could. Don't worry about trying to remember all these numbers in your head. I'm going to put all these numbers in the writing on the bottom of the screen, or, you know, under the video. So don't worry if you forget something. Of course, I mean, hey, even if I didn't put the numbers, you can always, you know, back up the video, fast forward. You can just get it that way. If maybe you're on a mobile device or something, you can't read the writing, and you just want to back it up and hear it again. But you don't have to go to all that trouble if you don't want to, because if you can read what I'm going to write in the notes, the numbers will all be there. So don't worry about, you know, oh, what was that other number? I forgot. You know, I'm going to do my best so that you have all the information. Let's see. Anyway, so episode number 2, it was pretty boring. I mean, you had the introduction of Tamsin, and obviously she was great, but, you know, it was her introduction. That was about the only good part of the show. Overall, it was a very, very boring episode to me. I watched about a half a minute of it and turned it off because it was like they were in some sort of nightclub or something. It was just like, man, this is boring. I can't believe how boring this is, and I just turned it off. And that was me. All right, I'm sure most people have more patience than me and stuck it out longer. You know, because they still had over 1 million viewers for the show, which again, while it was down a lot, it was, you know, it's not bad. Okay, episode number 3. Now, episode number 3 was the episode with you know, Kinsey getting the fighting stick, as you call it what you want. You know, she's doing some fighting. That was cool. You know, you had Bo and Tamsin making out. That was, you know, obviously a major draw. And so those two things sort of held the rating up. It still went down, but only went down 23,000 viewers. You had 1,052,000 total viewers. Now you say, well, it went down, so that's not good. But it actually was real good, because compared to the next episode, okay, the fact that it was almost the same as the second episode is actually a real good thing, because when I tell you what the rating was for the next episode, for episode number 4, you're gonna understand why I say that the fact that you still had over 1 million viewers, 1,052,000 watching episode number 3, and again, this was a real good episode. It deserved to have a lot of viewers. It deserved maybe a little more than it got. In fact, you know, this was good stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun episode. You know, it really was. Episode number 4, however, you know, episodes 4 and 5 actually have almost identical ratings, and they are almost identical in that they focus very heavily on, you know, Bo and Lauren and their relationship, and it really wasn't any fun. I mean, what was fun about it, right? I mean, basically, by the end of episode number 4, if you didn't know that they were going to be breaking up, you I don't know what to say. I don't want to insult anybody, but I mean that was really obvious. Just let me say that was really obvious. But anyway, so these were the Bo and Lauren heavy episodes 4 and 5, and so we'll start with episode number 4. Episode number 4 lost 208,000 viewers. It had 844,000 viewers. So way under a million. The first 3 episodes at least had over a million. This one was way, way down, episode number 4. And again, it did not really get better. You could say literally it got better in episode number 5, which basically was the same dynamic as episode number 4. Episode number 5 gained 3,000 viewers. It was virtually identical, almost identical viewership. 847,000 viewers as opposed to 844. So, I mean, hey, the ratings were in the tank at this point. It was looking very, very bad. And hey, I'm someone who had enjoyed in the past the whole Bo and Lauren thing, but the Bo and Lauren and Dyson triangle and all of this. It was old. It was real old, and people were tuning out in huge numbers because they were quite tired of it. I was one of those people who was quite tired of it and was tuning out because of it. I will admit that. I'll freely admit it. I mean, great day in the morning. I wasn't interested in watching, that stuff. I mean, that wasn't drawing me in. It was pushing me away. I wanted to like these episodes like I liked the first episode, like I liked the third episode, but you gotta have a reason, and they're sort of giving you a not reason, But episode 6, boy oh boy, turned everything around. I'm gonna have to do this math in my head here. Give me a moment, please. It looks like an addition of 196,000 viewers for episode number 6. It got back above a million. 1,033,000 viewers watched what could reasonably be called the first real Valkubus episode. This was, again, a very huge increase in viewership, almost 200,000 viewers. Wait, I said 196,000. I think it was actually 186,000. I missed that by 10,000 in my head here. I apologize. But anyway, you had 847,000 people watch the Bo and Lauren episode in episode 5, and you had 1,033,000 viewers watching the Bo and Tamsin episode in episode 6. I'm sorry if I'm not the world's best at doing the math in my head at all times, but those are the numbers. I believe I've finally got it at 186,000 edition. It's a major addition, though, even if I'm still wrong. All right, it's big. It's a big difference. Major increase, whatever that number might be, right or wrong, Now, at this point in the season, you did have it looked like, that Bo and Tamsin are headed toward maybe getting together. That's going to be good. And they actually also gave a false impression that Dice and Kenzie were also headed toward getting together. That again was obviously a false impression, but but it was certainly a nice thought, because they would make a great couple on the show. Don't know why they don't really explore that more. I mean, particularly when Dyson's got nobody, Kenzie's got nobody. I mean, it's not like you're even interfering with anything. But they never do that. A little annoying there, but that's their thing. That's what for whatever reason they do that. All right, so 6 episodes in, finally back up to over 1 million viewers. Things finally headed back in the right direction. We're finally getting away from this annoying triangle that we've had going for over 2 years, heading in a new direction. It's really cool. Everything's great. And then you have episode 7. No Tamsin at all. It's basically a bunch of nothing. Also, you had a week off. There was here in America, you had a week of nothing. I guess it worked that way in Canada, right, as well. You had a week off, so it was 2 weeks from one episode to the next. Episode 7 lost 110,000 viewers. Episode 7 had 923,000 total viewers. It did not deserve to have that many. Quite frankly, I mean, they got that many because episode 6 was that good, and you're expecting episode 7 to follow it, to continue it, to be, the storylines. It's going to pick up where episode 6 left off. Instead, it goes in a completely different direction. It's Bo was going home to meet her adoptive mother, and what? Okay, it was terribly boring stuff. I mean, who cares? I guess some people cared, and if you cared, good for you. Then you probably enjoyed the episode, So again, that's good for you. But there was really no reason to care about this episode. It was a bunch of nothing. And as far as I'm concerned, it did even better in the rating than it deserved to. As it was, it still lost 110,000 viewers, which was bad. But that's okay, because episode 8 is coming up, and they promoted this very heavily even before episode 7 aired. They were already promoting that episode 8 was going to be a really big episode for Bo and Tamsin. They're promoting the kiss, but this was going to be big. This was going to be their episode, and it sort of seemed like this could be the episode that they get together, And so people wanted to see that, and people really wanted to see that. But I have to do some math in my head again if I want to get this number for you. From episode 7 to episode 8, it appears that they gained 184,000 viewers. I'm going to give you the total number of viewers. Episode 8 had 1,107,000 total viewers. That was, at the time, and remained throughout the entire season, the most watched episode of the entire season, not counting the opening and the finale. You figure the opening, the premiere and the finale are going to be your 2 biggest. Everything of everything in between, this one was the highest rated episode of the season. It was very, very Valkubus heavy, as you know. Tamsin was somebody did a analysis of various characters and how much screen time they got per episode. Tamsin got the most screen time of any character, not Bo, other than Bo. other than Bo, Tamsin got the most screen time of any character in any episode all season in this episode. This was a very, very heavy Valkubus episode, and the rating was huge. It was, over 1.1 million viewers for episode 8. So people wanted to see Valkubus. They saw it. I'm sure they wanted, a little more than they got in terms of, they wanted them to get together. They didn't actually get together, as we know. I mean, everything is in hindsight now, At the time, there was not hindsight. It looked like there was a very real chance they were going to get together. They didn't. There was the big kiss that they built up to. That was great. But the ending was, as far as the ratings go, very problematic, as you will see in the coming episode ratings. Very, very problematic, and it was by design. This was clearly by their design. I mean, they have nobody but themselves to blame for what happened next. Everybody loved this episode. They loved Bo and Tamsin together. They wanted more of it. And what you saw at the end of the episode was starting you down a path of them doing everything in their power to convince you that Tamsin was going to die. Okay, that she was going to be ordered to kill Bo, she wasn't going to do it, and she was going to die. Okay, again, in hindsight, we know that didn't happen. That Tamsin is, alive and well, heading into season 4. But at the time, it appeared, starting then, and they continued the theme. So it was clearly by design. They wanted you, the viewer, to believe that Tamsin was going to die. And they thought that was going to make you want to watch the episodes. And this brings me back to an interview that I read a long time ago, in which the actress who plays Tamsin, who is, of course, one of the greatest actresses of all time, Rachel Skarsten, told the interviewer that, I believe she told them that it was Jay Firestone, the head of the show himself, who told her this, that people were going to love to hate Tamsin. That was what they thought. They honestly believed that. They thought that's what people were going to feel, that they were going to love to hate Tamsin. I honestly don't know what they were thinking, because people loved Tamsin. They did not love to hate her, they loved her. So by making people think that she was not going to survive the season, that naturally had the opposite effect of what they thought it was going to have. So, as we'll see in the ratings for the upcoming episodes, they got exactly what they wanted. They wanted you to think that she was going to die. And the result of them getting what they wanted was the exact opposite of what they expected. All right. So we had the highest rating in since the opener in episode number 8. Had over 1.1 million viewers. That was for episode 8. Episode number 9 was the Dawning episode. Now, in terms of storyline, not related to romance and whatnot, but just the storyline, of the season, everything had built up to this, the Dawning, right? It's the Dawning. Is episode 9. It lost a lot of viewers. It lost, if I'm doing the math in my head right, which, again, if I'm not, I apologize. looks like it lost 139,000 viewers. There was about a half a minute of Tamsin in the episode. It focused very heavily on Bo and Dyson. So, I mean, you can say, does that, I mean, personally say the total number of viewers was 968,000 viewers. So, under a million. Barely under a million, but under a million. We're back under a million, and things were going to get a lot worse. But for the time being, it's a little bit under a million watched the episode that the whole season had been building up to. They would, this is because you lost a huge number of viewers because you're losing the Bo and Tamsin crowd. You're making people think that Tamsin is, that Bo and Tamsin aren't going to get together, that Tamsin's going to die, and so you're sabotaging your own show, sabotaging the ratings. Even the dawning episode still can't quite make it to 1 million viewers. Even this, though, is actually going to look good. Believe it or not, losing that many viewers is actually going to look good when I tell you what happened in the next few episodes. Now, episode 10 is when sort of you have it starts out with Tamsin, saying, basically, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to, try to kill Bo or whatever. The term they use is deliver. You assume it means kill. Does it mean kill? Who knows? It seemed to mean that way. It was sort of vaguish. Either way, it was going to mean her fighting Bo, and she wasn't going to do it. She wasn't going to turn on Bo. But in the end, as we know, through threats on her life and the life of Acacia, who may or may not be her mother. They said she was Tamsin's mother, but then on the episode itself, they never actually referred to her as her mother. So is she her mother? Is she not? Who knows? Threats were made on her life and on Tamsin's life if she did not turn on Bo. And as we know, in the end of episode 10, she did. So again, if you turn on Bo, I mean, you can't. You're not going to kill Bo. If you end up fighting Bo and one of you dies, it's not going to be Bo. She's the star of the show, so you know that. This is a given. So this is more of them trying to convince you that Tamsin is not going to make it to the through the season, and thinking that you're going to like hearing that or seeing it in this case, and again being horrifically wrong in that assumption. Episode number 10, an episode that guest starred Linda Hamilton and should have gained ratings, actually lost 141,000 viewers. This was the Linda Hamilton episode. This should have been, I mean, obviously they should have written this as a major Pro Valkibus episode. They did not. As a result, the episode, the ratings just horrifically in the tank. 827,000 viewers, lowest rated episode of the season. I'm going to be saying that again, more than once. The lowest rated episode of the season as I go through the next couple episodes. Episode number 11, which was a bunch of nothing. Almost identical in the viewership. 824,000 total viewers. This was a loss of just 3,000 viewers. It's virtually the same, but it is yet another fewest watches of the season. Fewest viewers all year. And we're not done. Episode 12 is sort of unique. There was a huge build-up. Everything obviously is building up to making you believe that Tamsin is going to get killed, and in the ads, the promotion of episode 12, it sort of continued that, but also basically two things. They advertised two things for episode 12. One, of course, the first thing they advertised, first thing in the advertisement, was Tamsin and Bo in a bathtub. Now, I think there's only one thing that one would reasonably assume from seeing that. I hope I don't have to explain that. If I have to explain that to you, I shouldn't explain it to you. So I'll, I'll leave it at that. And the other thing the promotion, the ads promoted, was Tamsin taking a bullet for Bo, being shot to protect Bo. And so again, they're promoting the ads, promoting the possibility that Bo and Tamsin are finally going to get together, but then that Tamsin is going to die. So these are, so it's sort of, you got one thing you really want to see and one thing you really don't want to see, and they're advertising them both. So rather hit and miss there in their advertisements. But the real problem that they had was that the one thing that you wanted to see, which was them getting together, that scene where it looked like they were going to finally get together, happened at the beginning, in the first segment of the show. And so when that, and it was a great scene, but they did not get together, as we now know, with the benefit of hindsight. But the disappointment that the scene did not go further than it did, of course, probably resulted in the rating being so bad, as bad as it was, because basically, again, that happened at the end of the first segment. So you just gotta, you've got a problem, because this was also the same night that you had the post-WrestleMania episode of Monday Night Raw, and you had the NCAA championship basketball game going on. So you see the first segment end in disappointment for you, and you know that the only thing you've got left to look forward to is something you're not looking forward to, which is Tamsin getting shot at the end of the episode, which is, you know that's going to happen because they've been advertising it. You say, do I want to sit around and watch that, or do I want to watch the championship ball game, or do I want to watch the post-WrestleMania Raw? This is not a hard choice. You're going to watch something else. And boy, did they. Because this was the lowest rated episode ever for the series. It lost, in pure numbers, there's only so many left to lose. It lost, I believe, 68,000 viewers. It had 756,000 total viewers. It had about 750,000 viewers, just incredibly low numbers. It basically, by the end of the episode, it seemed like the end of the series. Now, we all knew at that point that it had been picked up for a fourth season, so we knew that the series would continue into season 4. But basically, you're watching the show, you're figuring this is it. There's going to be a fourth season. That's it. People just aren't watching anymore. There's not going to be a reason to watch anymore. They're going to kill off Tamsin, and they're taking the viewers with her. They're driving people away in droves. People just are not watching the show anymore. It is toast. Show is toast. That is that is what it appeared at that time. It was dreary stuff. And then you had the season finale in Canada and the disappointing rating there. And boy, things were grim. But something happened. Something very, very dramatic happened before the season finale aired here in America. Now, again, like between episodes 6 and 7, there was 1 week in between episodes 12 and 13, an extra week. So there were 2 weeks total. And during that time, during that extra time, the star of the show, Anna Silk, who plays Bo, basically, saw, I mean, she probably had access to all the ratings, the Canadian and the American ratings, because, if anybody's an insider, it would be her, right? I mean, so she probably had, knew everything that was happening. She knew that what was, what they were trying to do was destroying the show. And she did something very dramatic. She went against what their whole strategy had been. And she went on the internet, on an internet interview show, and she made a major announcement that Tamsin, Rachel Skarsten, the actress who plays Tamsin, would be back for season 4. Tamsin was not going to be killed off and gone. She was going to be back. Everything was going to be fine. This was news. This was obviously huge news. This, again, was going against everything they're trying to make you think. The results were very extreme. It's really, there's no overstating what she did, the effect of what she did by announcing that Tamsin would be back for season 4. I cannot overstate the results enough. The season finale, episode number 13, gained. Now, are you ready for this? This is a big one. This is a big number. You think you've heard big numbers? It gained 450,000 viewers. The total number of viewers for episode number 13 of Lost Girl, which was the season finale of season 3, was 1,206,000. It was the only time the entire season that it broke 1.2 million viewers. It was the most watched episode of the season, and you do not have the quote-unquote smart people, the marketing people, the promotional people to thank for it. You have one person to thank for it, or 2 people if you want to count the actress who plays Tamsin. But the main person you have to thank for this rating is the actress who plays Bo, the star of the show, going out there and just basically going against everything that they were doing wrong. I'm sure that those people were not happy with her doing that, and were much less happy when they saw how much better her way of doing things was than theirs. But she went against, her advertising people, her idea people, whatever you want to call those people that were driving the ratings into the ground. And she brought them back up higher than they had been all season long, with one statement. Okay? So you've got to give her a lot of credit for that. So just like that, it went from looking like, well, this was a great show, it had a great run, and it's coming to an end, and there's just nothing you can do about it, to, wow, this show is coming back stronger than ever, and its future is so bright you got to wear shades, as the song goes, right? very bright future for the series. Certainly now, uh, I should say the potential is there for that, because you still have the same people around, presumably, unless they got fired, which would have been reasonable. Uh, the ones who drove the ratings into the ground. You probably still have them around. They may be able to do it again. But if they learned their lesson and they make, season 4, heavy on Tamsin and Valkubus as the season finale was, which was the reason why you had the huge ratings, then the future of the series is indeed very bright. Probably season 4's ratings could be the highest of any of the 4 seasons. The potential is clearly there for that. Again, that's if they keep going the way that it seemed like they were going, which is, of course, Bowen, Tamsin, Valkubus, Tamsin with the major role. Because it was grim. I mean, you can look at these numbers and you can look at them on the screen in the writing that I'm going to put on there for you and see just how grim it was looking. And with Bo's or Anna's, I should call her by her real name since she was the one doing the interview. Interview her statement, that Tamsin will be back for season 4. That saved the ratings. It brought them all back and then some. I mean, all the viewers and then some. I mean, it was an incredible turnaround. And hopefully, again, they will keep that up heading into season 4. Whether or not they will remains to be seen, because again, you're going to be, you do have the people that drove the ratings into the ground. They are presumably still around. They may not be. Maybe they did get fired. I don't know, but probably not. Even though they kind of earned it, because this was really bad. But in any event, if they learn the lessons, if they don't say, hey, just sort of stubbornly dig in their heels and say we're going to keep doing it the wrong way, we don't care about the ratings. So long as they say, hey, this worked, we're going to go with it, and it's going to keep working. The ratings stand to be very big for season 4. It would be a big season for Valkubus. It would be a big season, for the fans who want to see it. Big season for the show. They'll keep getting renewed, because the ratings will keep being very strong. So here's hoping that they do that. So that is the truth of the ratings of Lost Girls season 3. Yes, they were on the average down, but they didn't have to be. And they have tremendous potential to not just be up for season 4, but to be up significantly. And of course, that is if they follow the what worked in season 3. Major, Valkubus storylines, and getting away from this whole idea of threatening to kill off people's favorite characters. Crazy stuff. Get away from that stuff. Stay away from that stuff and stay with Valkubus, Bo and Tamsin, and the ratings should stay high as they were, and grow as they were growing. And So that is the truth behind the season 3 ratings. Feel free to leave comments, and I believe in my previous video I neglected to ask that you please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I want to do that. And I want to thank you once again, as always, for watching. Have a great day.